All right, listen up. If you are following a plant-based diet for weight loss and you eat a lot of starches as part of that diet, then today's video, I'm going to be breaking down which starches are better for weight loss, and even in the way that we prepare some of these starches, like for example, this might be better for weight loss than that. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If it's your first time landing on one of my videos, my name is Stasia and this channel is all about health and weight loss content following an oil-free, whole food, plant-based diet. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about the different starches, wet versus dry. What does that even mean? What is the difference and how does that affect our weight loss goals? But before we jump into the video, as promised, with Christmas, with the New Year's coming up, all that good stuff, every time I release a video moving forward, all of my weight loss recipe ebooks are going to be on sale at 50% off to the first 10 people who purchase it. That includes my first book that has over 50 oil-free recipes and my brand new book that has over 30 oil-free sauces and dressings, as well as my combo for both of the books, which if you buy both of them together, you get a bit of a discount, but all of them will be on sale at 50% off to the first 10 people. Okay, so let's get into the video. So this is a wet starch, my dinner tonight, which is a boiled potato and very hot and burning my fingers. And this is what would be considered a dry starch, my husband's pasta that I just grabbed from his cupboard. Okay, so let's expand on that a little bit more. So some other wet starches are things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, oatmeal. These are all foods that are not processed, they're whole foods and left in their natural state. And a lot of them naturally have water within them. Most fruits and vegetables are high water containing foods. And for the ones that are not, like rice and oatmeal, when we cook those things, they actually expand and absorb tons of water in the cooking. So the final result will be a food that has a high water content. And that is why when we eat this way for weight loss, that it works, because you end up getting more bang for your buck because of that water content. So for example, if you take half a cup of oatmeal and then you add it to 1 cup of water and you cook it, you're gonna be left with about a cup or so of cooked oatmeal. That is literally double the amount of the dry oatmeal that you started off with. So it's really about that high water content that we're gonna give a little bit more attention to eating those wet starches that are going to fill us up volume-wise without having to worry so much about it calorically-wise. Okay, so some of the dry starches we're gonna talk about would be things like bread, pancakes, tortilla shells, pasta, any type of buns that we're gonna use for like a burger or something. Those are all foods that we would consider a dry starch. So what makes them a little bit different than a wet starch is the fact that they are a little bit more condensed and concentrated and processed. To give you an example, bread is about 1,200 calories per pound and a potato is about 300 to 400 calories per pound. So we roughly eat anywhere between 3 and 5 pounds of food every single day. So taking those examples, you're going to have an extremely high amount of calories if you were to just fill up on 3 to 5 pounds of food eating bread versus if you were to fill up eating 3 to 5 pounds of those potatoes at only 300 to 400 calories per pound. I hope that makes sense. But without getting it too complicated, talking math and all of that, the easy thing is to remember, if the food has been processed, if the water has been removed from the food, and even in the cooking process, there's not really a heck of a lot of water that can be added to the actual food, then it's more than likely going to be considered a dry starch. And the wet starches, you're always going to be able to get more bang for your buck volume-wise without having to worry about it calorie-wise. And unfortunately, the same cannot be said for those dry starches. You can certainly include them into a healthy diet and have them from time to time. But if weight loss is your goal, those are foods that you definitely want to keep an eye on, portion-wise, or just eat them sparingly. Certainly, I think that there's a healthy way to incorporate those foods into our diets, but just weight loss-wise, you just want to keep an eye on those portions. Okay, so we can actually take this one step further, and we're going to talk about potatoes, and if there is a difference in the way that we prepare potatoes, whether one way can be better for weight loss than the other. But before we do, I just wanted to also highlight something else as an example. So take soup. Soup has been known to be an excellent tool for weight loss, something to eat before your meal. And the reason why, even over salad or just raw veggies or, a bowl of roasted veggies, not that those things are not great. I eat them, they're great to eat. But in terms of feeling satiated and really full, soup is always going to be the winner. And I bet at this point you can guess why. The water. It's that water content. So there have been studies that have been done showing that a soup is actually more filling, more satisfying, and prevents you from eating more heavy foods in your meal than even if you were to have a salad before that meal. And again, it's because that water content. So that one just came to mind, and I thought I would share that as another example to just help paint the picture about how important that water content in our foods is in terms of making us feel fuller and satiated without paying a high price calorically speaking. Okay, to end this video off, we are going to be discussing the difference between having some air fried French fries that has no oil, just the potatoes, they're air fried, versus a boiled potato. So what exactly is the difference here? They're both potatoes, so which one would be better for weight loss? The boiled potato would actually be better for weight loss, and I bet again, you can guess it at this point why, because of that water content. When we roast or air fry those potatoes, the water is actually being evaporated out a little bit by the cooking process. So we're left with more of a drier potato. Whereas when you boil the potato, all that natural water is staying intact, as well as you're cooking it literally in water. So to expand on this idea, if you have two potatoes, so these are roughly about the same size. Let's just say from the top of my head, they're each about 100 grams. I have no idea. That's literally just a number for the sake of the example. But say they're both 100 grams, and we're going to throw this one in the oven, and we're going to throw this one in a pot of water. So by the time the oven roasted potato is done cooking, you might actually end up only having a 90-gram potato or so, whereas this one, the boiled one, will still be 100 grams. So basically what that means is that eating 100 grams of the oven roasted potato will actually have more calories than the 100 grams of the boiled potato. Another thing to think about is that you might end up losing a little bit of the starch from the boiled potato in the water, just like how we sometimes use that boiling liquid, after potatoes or beans to thicken up our sauces because there's starch in the water. So that's just another thing to think about. I think when it comes down to the potato debate to, have them boiled or roasted or air fried, I think it's safe to say that the boiled potatoes, the one with the higher water content, might be the winner in keeping us fuller, feeling more satiated for less calories. I think that is the conclusion. However, with that being said, I just want to point out this video was just, to break it down into the nitty-gritty details of which might possibly be better or work better for weight loss. But with all that being said, all potatoes are good for you no matter how you're making them. If you prefer to eat potatoes oven roasted or air fried, by all means eat them that way. Eat them whatever way you enjoy eating them, just as long as they're not deep fried in fat, because that's a big no. As long as you're eating a diet rich in whole foods, you are winning. Because when you think of processed foods, what's the first feeling or thought that comes to mind? For me, it is that they're just dry. When you're craving something delicious or, you're hot, let's say on a summer day, you're not craving like something dry from a box or, bread, something heavy like bread. Our body naturally craves something that's fresh and a lot of water content. So it's the same idea. So it's always going to be those foods that are naturally rich in water that are going to be better for us. Now, with that being said, I am curious because I know this is a potato loving community. So drop it in my comments and let me know what your thoughts are about the potato debate, wet versus dry in the way that we cook them, as well as what your favorite wet or dry starches are. So drop it in the comments. We all read them, so it benefits all of us. Anyways, if you are new to my channel and you also like health and weight loss content, you're also on a whole food plant-based weight loss journey or health journey, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you stick around. Next week, I'm going to be putting out a video talking about the two starches that I have been rotating between and what my thoughts are about it. So you definitely are not going to want to miss that video. At any rate, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see all of you in the next one. Don't forget, the first 10 people get those books on sale. See you guys in the next one.